Aloha pōʻalima kākou. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Division 2 DJ Kano. And we are going to be talking about some tips for the DZ. First of all, before I even get into this video, I am no expert. I'm not an expert in DZ. I'm not even that good in DZ. And that's why I feel like this video may be helpful to those that are considering, like, why would I even go in there? Maybe I don't want to go in there because I've had a very bad experience the one time I went in there. And even if you aren't good, like myself, I'm just an average, like, okay person to go into the DZ. It doesn't mean you can't still enjoy it, because I still do enjoy going into the DZ when I have the right people, when I have the right build, and I have the right mindset. So those are very, very important things. So, let's see. Let's talk about build first. Well, no, you know what? Let's not talk about build first. Let's talk about mindset, because mindset is very important when going into the DZ. So when you go into the DZ, you want to have the mindset of, well, you're gonna die. You gotta get used to it. No matter what you're wearing, you could have a very good build. You can have a very strong build with very specific pieces, but know that you're gonna die unless you're the one going rogue all the time. So if you're going in there and you don't want to go rogue, especially, you want to have the mindset of you're eventually gonna die. Okay, let me backtrack a couple of steps. If you don't even know what the DZ is, like, what the heck are you talking about, man? What's the DZ? Discovery Zone? I haven't seen one of those in ages. It's not the Discovery Zone. It is the Dark Zone, and we have one here, and we have one her, and we have one a her. Okay, so if you look at the targeted loot, we have Seska, we have Golan, and we have what's that? Gear system mods. So there's nothing super crucial in terms of DZ exclusives that I have to worry about. I think there might be a Seska piece that I'm not thinking about. I don't think there's a golden piece. You can look up DZ exclusives on your own at whatever website you can find, and there are some items that are really good named items that you can only get from the Dark Zone. So I recommend looking that up and seeing which targeted loot is best for you. All right, when you go into the dark zone, it is PvP and PvE. So what you can do is you go in, and you're going to see that there will be, when you go in, you're going to look at the map, and there's going to be purple looking fists icons, and those are landmarks. What you can do is you go to a landmark, you're going to find bosses and ads, you kill them, you clear the landmark. That's all you're doing. As you're doing this, you're gaining contaminated gear, which needs to be extracted by going to these arrows that are extraction points. It takes, I believe, roughly about 2 minutes from the time that you call an extraction to the time that the extraction leaves, and you have to place your contaminated gear on top of a rope when the helicopter arrives. Within that time, everyone in the DZ that's in your DZ will be notified that an extraction has been called, and that means if there are rogue agents in there, people that like to go rogue, they press and hold their middle panel on top of their controller. It makes them a rogue agent, someone that can kill other agents. So if they see that you're calling an extraction, they may go rogue and kill you and take whatever you dropped. To clear up any confusion for those that are new to the dark zone, if you lose gear, it's only stuff that you've picked up within the dark zone. Anything you bring in with you, you will never lose. That's yours. It's just contaminated gear that you acquire in the dark zone. So if you acquire something that's exclusive, something that you really want, you need to be very careful when extracting. So like I said, coming back to the mindset, know that there's a good chance you're going to lose it. So if you were to say get a really, really good piece, like there's a Providence backpack called the Gift. It has perfect vigilance, which gives you 25% weapon damage just for holding the backpack, just for having it. Within 3 seconds, if you get hit by any means by an ad, then you lose that buff for 3 seconds. After 3 seconds, you get it back. So you almost always will maintain 25% weapon damage if you don't get hit. That backpack is very, very rare, and a lot of people like it for a DPS build. So, say you were to get that in the Dark Zone, okay? You see it drop like, oh my gosh, and it's an amazing roll. Don't get attached to it. That's my advice in terms of mentality. Do not get attached to items that you have not acquired just yet. Be stoked, be careful, and be quiet. Be quiet. What do you mean by be quiet? All right. So in the settings, if you're not in a party chat, if you're in the game chat, there's the VoIP over here. I forgot what it stands for, but this allows you to be able to communicate with other players. So if you're in proximity of other players that you're not grouped with, then you can hear them and they can hear you. So right here, this is where you want Dark Zone VoIP. You want to have it as, I think it's allies only, for what it says. Friends only, allies only, whatever is on the left side. All is that everyone in the dark zone can hear you once you get into proximity. So you want to turn it off. Go this way so you can still communicate with people in your group, but you don't have to let anyone hear you. So if, say, a rogue agent or someone was nearby and they were like sneaking around and you didn't know they were there, and then you just yell, "Oh, I got a god roll the gift," then yeah, they're probably gonna kill you. So don't do that by accident by having it on all. Go and turn it off, and you can have just that. Otherwise, just go to a party chat. Go to a party chat. They can't hear you on a party chat. Okay. So mentality, just know that it's gonna happen. Um, go into the thought process of I didn't, if you get killed and it's stolen, that you didn't lose it. It's just that you never had it yet. And if you can make that mental switch, for some people it's easier, for some people it's not, then it might make life easier for you and not so stressful when you go into the dark zone. As soon as you feel the slight tinge of I don't like it in here, get out. Don't do the thing where like I'll just try a couple more times. You're gonna make yourself rage quit, and you're probably not gonna want to play the game for a little bit. So as soon as you feel like this is not what I want, then get out. You'll be safer with the group. If you can find a group, if you can find a team, go with a team. That's always gonna help. The other thing to help in terms of mentality, don't feel like you're bad, that you're not doing good if you're not doing well if somebody, a rogue agent, kills you, because think about the perspective of what that is. A rogue agent is most likely going to sneak up on you. They have the advantage of surprise. They're going to sneak up on you, they're going to go rogue, and if they get the first few shots on you, they've already got a big advantage. So don't be so hard on yourself if you get killed by a rogue agent, especially one that is sneaking up on you. If you end up going, shot for shot and you lose, then, maybe there might be build adjustments that need to be made. Maybe just play with more caution needs to be a thing. But don't be so hard on yourself when you play the Dark Zone. The Dark Zone is what a lot of people may consider an unbalanced place, and maybe it is. I don't know, but there's a lot of benefits, and it can be fun when you go with people, go with a team. Okay, so that's the mentality part. Um, all right, so builds though. Let's talk about builds. Let me get out of here, and I'll show you what may be one of many. There's not one build, but this is one that if you really want to be serious about withstanding a better chance against skilled rogue agents, people that at least have put their build together, you can test build versus build instead of skill versus skill. A skill in terms of not your skill or your gadgets, skill as in how well you know the DZ, right? So there's a lot of guys. There's some guys that know the map very well. If they know the nooks and crannies of the DZ, then they're gonna have an advantage on you. So don't be so hard on yourself. If you want to get better, take the time to learn the maps. Take the time to learn where to run in case you get rogues. Where's a good choke point if you want to fight back? Those are things you have to consider. So don't just dive in assuming it's like PvE and all is going to be good. That's not at all what it's like. You have to learn it just like any other PvP. If you play anything else competitively, um, say it's Call of Duty is what I played. There are other competitive things like I don't know Fortnite. I've never really played it. I don't know. I can't talk about that. But anything competitive, the better you know the map, the better you know your weapons and your build, the better you'll be. So if you're not there yet, don't be so hard on yourself that you're getting killed often, right? So you need to just learn those things and get better. So let's talk about build here, okay? Now that we're outside, I just had to vamp till I got to a space I could do this. Um, the key pieces that I would recommend would be these two for sure. These ones, a lot of guys are running this. Like almost everyone that has killed me is running something with these two pieces. So if you can find them, you're looking for contractor's gloves and fox prayers, right? Oh, I already got those. Nope, you don't have these. Probably not have these. If you have fox prayers or contractor's gloves, I almost guarantee, like me, because I had this as well. I had it weapon damage rolled on the top, and I probably rolled crit damage on the bottom because it didn't already come with crit damage or crit chance. So you're gonna have to farm for very specific contractors and fox prayers that already have crit chance, that already have crit damage, either one, and then you can optimize it. Or if you're lucky like this one, I got super lucky with these fox prayers. I didn't even have to roll or optimize it at all. It came with a max roll crit chance. I can put armor on top of it as the core attribute. Okay, so these two pieces are pretty crucial, and they get used very often by those that are going rogue. So if you want to try and fend off rogues, then these are pieces that you may want to use. Okay, I'll talk about it in a little bit once I go through all the pieces. Why the theory behind why the armor is rolled on it instead of just damage itself. Okay, all right. So the backpack, I just happened to find a Seska, which gives me 10% crit chance, which is nice, and I get vigilance, which is what I talked about earlier, 25% weapon damage, just for having the backpack on. When I get hit, I'll lose that buff for 4 seconds. So if I can, catch a rogue by surprise, I'm getting 25% weapon damage on top of them. It happened to have armor regen. It would have been nice if I could get crit damage, crit chance. Those kind of things are very nice if I can get it. But armor regen doesn't hurt either because I'm rolling a lot of armor on this build. Okay, moving on. So Grupo, this is another one I recommend. Crit hit chance damage. 15% crit hit damage is a big deal. I could probably farm for a better one too. I have headshot damage instead of crit chance, crit damage. So this build is not perfect, but the idea is to have crits as much as you can, and this one happened to have pretty decent crits, and I could roll armor on it. So if I can farm for a better one, I'd be in better shape, but this is what I got for now. This is probably one I don't necessarily recommend for everybody. I like glass cannon. I use it a lot, so I'm used to being squishy. But look at this. I get 30% weapon damage, all damage actually, everything, even my skills if I chose to use them. I get 30% weapon damage. So with this, I get 55% weapon damage just for having these two pieces, given that I'll get hit first. And yes, I will be taking 60% damage. But if I can get the first shot off, if I can get the element of surprise, I have a big advantage. Because I feel like if I'm going to get snuck on anyway, they get the advantage. So why not make sure I have the advantage in some way, shape, or form? Okay. So armor rolled, crit chance, crit damage. Beautiful, beautiful piece. Ideal for what I want. It has the 15% headshot damage because it's Providence. Just so happens that's what you get with Providence. So even more so, if I can get a headshot off, then I'm in good shape. And then Coyote's Mask. If you have any kind of DPS build, you know what this is about. You have this. It works with crits depending on your range, right? So you look at how close I am, which most rogue encounters will be very close. They're gonna want to sneak up on you with a shield, right? And they're gonna want to just drill you down. So you're probably going to be relatively close when they come at you. So 0 to 15 meters, the closest I can possibly be, I get 25% crit hit damage. So I can do a lot of damage if I'm close by. All right. So those are the main pieces. I have a shield here, okay, and I also have this one. Why am I wearing flamethrowers? That's not going to help me. It helps me because of this shield. So let's see what this shield does. Striker shield is a modified version of the Crusader shield. So that means I can actually use my AR and I can use my SMG with it, which is nice. Let's see. In addition, the Striker shield boosts the damage of the user and all allies behind them based on the number of enemies in front of the shield. So I get damage boost when, say, there is a rogue directly in front of me, so I can get that extra buff. Okay, so that's why this one tends to be used a lot by rogues in the DZ. I'm using Stefan. Okay, so why am I using my decoy? Because it works differently in the dark zone. When I drop my decoy in the dark zone, there's usually, well, like in normal gameplay, you can see that I have. Well, you can't see it here. I actually am going to have a nameplate on the top of my head in the dark zone. So when you're nearby another player, it shows that you have a nameplate. When you drop your decoy in the dark zone, Stefan is actually going to have the nameplate on him, and I will not have it on me. So it allows me an opportunity to sneak up on other agents, on rogue agents especially, to go ahead and sneak around. They can't see me because they're looking for my HUD, looking for my nameplate, and they won't be able to find me. So a lot of them use that too, which is the reason why I'm using it. Okay, these guys, I'm going to get these guys out of my way real quick. Okay, so this is the style of gameplay. I'm going to come up and I'm going to actually pop my shield, drill, and move, turn it off to run away because you don't get mobility when you're using your shield, right? And I get that boost when I use my shield. So that's basically what you would do in the DZ when you're playing. As soon as you see another agent, pop your shield, drill, 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 and then do this to run away if you need to. All right. Anyway, going back to the build, I kind of dropped Stefan and he made them all riled up, so I had to kill him. But I have my guns with in sync. Okay. So why in sync? Why am I doing this? Hitting an enemy grants 15% skill damage for 5 seconds. Using a skill or damaging an enemy with a skill grants 15% damage. If I use both, I double that. So when I use my shield, This is activating that 15% on the bottom. When I hit an enemy, it's activating that skill damage as well. Well, the skill damage is important, but when I get both procced, I will get 30% weapon damage. So if I'm getting 30% weapon damage from this, whatever my percentage damage boost from my shield, plus my backpack and my chest, I'm doling out pretty darn good damage without even having to have that many reds. So that is the idea behind wanting to run in sync with these pieces. Why these guns? High RPM. I have played with so many guns and I've tried to make other guns work in terms of getting damage done quickly. It doesn't matter that much in comparison to RPM what your total damage is. I'm only at 62k. These are low percentages. I mean, low numbers in terms of damage compared to other guns that shoot slower. But the fact that I'm hitting so much more frequently with that amount of damage, it's really good for the DZ. It's good in general. So if you're doing speed runs or you're just going after a mission or something and you know where spawns are, high RPM is really, really friendly in terms of getting that quick kills and that melt, taking everybody down quickly. Why am I using the CTAR? The CTAR, it happens to be a very decent assault rifle in terms of magazine size is 50, RPM's 900. It's a pretty good high RPM, and the damage is relative to the Vector, which is what I'm using as well. So these are the guns that I prefer. I'm not saying these are the ones that'll work for everybody. Okay. Last thing but not least about the build, why am I rolling armor? What's the point of doing this? Why don't I just run all reds? Okay, so the reason is, at least this is the way I interpret it. No one's told me this. I haven't watched videos. I don't know. This is just my interpretation, is that the reason it's run this way is the way shields work. So shields work. The stronger it is depends on how many skill tiers there are, right? So if I get a skill tier 5 shield, you look at my percentages. Okay, let's take a look at this. Right here. So the more shield icons I have, the stronger the tier is. And you look at the percentages, right? I'm going from 200% shield health. If I went to 6, I have 250. Holstered regeneration is 15 extra percent. Active regeneration, another 10%. So these are not small percentages to go between skill tiers. So if I can get a higher skill tier with my shield, that means I have a stronger shield, but I'm not sacrificing a lot of damage for having the shield. So when my shield is open, I'm still doling out pretty good damage while I'm protected as much as I can. So it's like having a pretty strong shield while running an all-red build, even though I'm not really running an all-red build. So that is the theory behind it, and that's why I think it works for a lot of guys that are running DZ. So for you, if you are thinking about the DZ and you want to be a little bit more serious and you want to run it and you want to do more stuff, my recommendation, change your mentality. Don't let the game get you down and make you want to rage quit or not play. Get your mind right about when you go in there, what are you doing and what to expect. Find a group. Get a group of people that can run with you, and you don't all have to have this build. By the way, I want to be clear about that. This build is if you want to be a little bit more competitive, you like killing rogues, and your team wants to run around doing more damage. You don't even have to have this. If you got good numbers and you got people that don't mind dying or anything like that, just having fun, then you don't have to do this. Go with whatever you want to go with. I got buddies that go with a sniper build every now and then. I run this one right here. This is my raid build. I run my raid build when I get frustrated that my armor pieces on my DZ build are not doing enough damage, and I'll just hammer dudes hard with the Scorpio or even the Baker's Dozen, and it takes them down no matter what they're wearing. So sometimes it depends what you're in the mood for, which is the whole get your mind about it right thing. Okay, so don't make it a serious thing where you get too frustrated. Make it fun for you as much as possible. And I think the biggest thing that you can do for that is getting a good group of people with a similar mindset that just want to have fun, and you guys can watch each other's backs. The builds and all that kind of other stuff is additional things that might make it more competitive and more fun, but they're not required in order to go into the DZ and have a good time. Okay. Aside from the DZ exclusives, though, another thing that you get is field recon data. So you'll get field recon data, which is good for optimization. All right. So the optimization table requires field recon data, which is this. It's this stuff that's on the bottom, this little flag icon. You need field recon data and shade calibrations for optimization if you want to max out your rolls on your gear. And you get field recon data just by clearing landmarks in the DZ. It's a real quick and easy way to farm for FRD. Shade calibration, unfortunately, you have to still craft, but it's one less thing to have to worry about by getting field recon data. So that's another reason why you might want to do it. You can go and get field recon data by clearing landmarks, and you don't even have to worry about the gear. You can get gear, and maybe you get lucky with extractions, but no one can steal field recon data from you, right? As long as you clear the landmark. So there's another reason to go in and have a different meaning for going in there and not worried about people stealing your loot. Okay? Alrighty. That is it for this video. I hope that this was helpful in terms of getting some information on builds and what you might be able to do here. One other thing that I will talk about real quick, actually, yeah, I'm not done. Sorry, my bad, is this is another thing that people run too. So the Ridgeway's Pride is what gets used because this is the exotic piece from the summit that allows you bleed damage when you're within 15 meters. And people will also use, where is it? I think I have it here. It's the not that. I don't have it with me, but it has. If you have a talent, Wicked on the talent. So if you have Wicked on your backpack, then you get 18% weapon damage just from applying status effects, which is the bleed from the chest. So guys will run that, and the other thing people will run too, it would be the. I think I had it right here, the Matador, which is a DZ exclusive backpack, but this one gives you Adrenaline Rush. Well, perfect Adrenaline Rush. You could find regular Adrenaline Rush, which basically gives you bonus armor for being close proximity. And the reason for the bonus armor is you can actually go ahead and run a Intimidate. This happens to be perfect Intimidate, but if you run a chest piece with Intimidate, you get 40% weapon damage when you have bonus armor and you're within 10 meters. So again, very, very similar to what a general rogue encounter will be in the DZ. So if you can get that close and you have your bonus armor and Intimidate procced, you can get 40% damage just by doing that. So that's another combination you may consider. The Intimidate, Adrenaline Rush, or you can do the Wicked backpack and the Ridgeway's Pride. Those are all pretty common in terms of straight up weapon damage and how you can annoy people in the DZ. Okay. All right. Now that is officially it. I hope that helps with information and people that are wanting to get into the DZ. And it's not as stressful. This game should not be stressful. It should be fun. So put some builds together, get some friends together, and go farm for some stuff in a DZ. All right, guys. Until next time. Shoots.